Sumana this. I get this a lot where people are like, oh, you're Indian? You don't look Indian because you're like quite fair to be in India.
Yeah.
I've literally at a workplace, and someone thought that was a compliment.
That's so...
I was like, I can't believe
like,
you just
what
said that. That is not a compliment, that's a backhand.
Yeah. Realize you're being racist, or like you realize you're insulting us.
Yeah. Like you're not actually boosting my ego.
Yeah. Well, my name is Sumana.
My name is Tanmai.
Today's shoot is mainly about celebrating diversity, inclusion, and celebrating brown bodies. Like celebrating art. We haven't ever seen ourselves represented in media, magazines, on any advertisements. Like we've never seen our bodies. I feel like we're stepping into our power. We'd like to see more of us stepping into our power, and I think a lot of people are wanting this, and then there's like a lack of opportunity to do so. It kind of came about because of that. I guess that's like the main.
That's absolutely the main reason, and also just being able to show awareness and inclusivity of different kinds of body. The stigma around brown bodies, or you have to be a certain body shape and style to be a model or to be photographed. I think a lot of young girls, especially teenagers, all they're seeing these days on Instagram or TikTok are people they can't relate to. People, they don't look the same way, they don't act the same way, they're not the same background. That representation.
Ever since I was a kid, I've always admired models and actresses and things, and I never thought it was an opportunity for me because I never saw it represented. And even within like the Indian movie industry and things, you'd only see fair skin. So when I was a kid, I had dreams of painting my skin white to be able to be in these industries. I never thought it was a possibility for me. And it's such an internal thing because like you never see it. So that barrier comes from yourself. It's as a result of the external environment where culturally we're kind of taught choose those safe avenues. I'm a physiotherapist, and while I love what I do, it's like a safe avenue as a career, as an academic career. Things that I wanted to do as a child, I never considered. I think like coming into modelling and stuff, we're pretty similar in the sense that it presented itself and we've kind of just been slowly
into it,
stepping our way into it.
Yeah, mine was probably a little bit different to Sumana's because exactly what she said. I always used to do Bollywood dancing. I had aspirations to be on the screen and do a big Bollywood dance. You know, that is what I thought that I could do because I looked similar to what I saw on screen. So that was attainable. But what wasn't attainable was ever me being a model, because I remember someone approached me and said, oh, you should apply for like Miss India Australia. And I said, well, actually, I'm only 5'3", so can I? And questioning myself for it, or thinking that I could only ever work in the Indian film industry and I could never have a go at a Hollywood film, or, you know, like a Hollywood theatre play, which I do a lot of outside of work. But being in year 12, I remember going up to my parents and saying, acting is what I want to do. And they said, well, no, you actually have to finish a degree first. So again, safe career choice. I ended up doing a business commerce degree. That is what I found myself in until about 3 years ago. I thought to myself, no, I'm going to go out there and actually pursue my passions. And modeling just sort of fell into my lap. It's weird how today's society makes you, again, question yourself. And it's such an ingrained thing, and it's not just society, sometimes it's your family.
Yeah, what's the opposition that you face from your own culture about sort of doing like you're doing some crazy shoots, right? Like how the aunties getting on Instagram, you know.
I think a really great example is both of us today, and not being able to tell our mums what we're actually doing. Like, they both know we're out filming and shooting, but they don't know that we're doing it in our underwears.
And it's still so stigmatized. I have a really interesting experience because I've had both my parents find my Instagram account. Dad's seen some of my photos and he didn't want to have the conversation, so he sent me an email to ask me to take them down, which I wasn't going to do. Then later, someone, I don't know who, sent a message to my mum on Facebook explaining like what I was posting and stuff, and broke down. But it actually opened up some really honest and open conversations around why I do what I do. While they're not fully on board, they can see the value in it. Just slightly, they can see that there's a reason behind it. Even if it's also a product of their time, where they're taught to cover up, they're taught to stay small, stay within their lane. That's what they're taught, and that's what they did to maintain safety. They don't want us to suffer, and they think by staying that way, we don't suffer. Community and society, so they're just like, what will people think? Those moments, I was just like, I should just delete everything. Like, I don't want to disappoint my parents. We're so used to being parent pleasers. It was crazy, but some of my biggest barriers of backlashes are actually like the people within me.
You know, maybe I've just been lucky, but I haven't had similar experiences. And I think that's actually predominantly because I did it since I was a kid. It didn't come out of the blue for them. They knew this was always something that I was interested in. Quite early on in my life, that is when the barriers were, because you have to study, you have to go to university, when all I wanted to do was learn how to act, you know, like I remember watching movies and being in front of a mirror and just mimicking what I saw. But that was kind of looked on, well, you know, you're still not academically driven, and that's a bad thing. So I always used to say my brother is smarter than I am, but that's because he was academically driven. Home, the environment made me feel like, oh, but I'm not smart, you know, like the journey from getting myself to a point where I'm like, actually, I'm better at other things. Just because I'm not book smart or academically smart doesn't mean that I'm not creative, doesn't mean that that is what defines me. We are defined by these labels, oh, she's intelligent, or I'm a physiotherapist, or I work in HR. But that's putting us in boxes. Why can't we do both? Why can't I also work in the corporate world, but do modelling on the side?
Be everything
That you want to be. My parents are slowly coming around to the idea, balancing the two, but I still get a lot of, you're almost 30, you're a woman now, and you shouldn't be dancing at these events. Actually, absolutely. What will people say? What will people think? Or, you know, if you put up a photo that cleavagey, then, oh, you should probably take that down. Exactly what Somi said.
They're slowly coming around and going, like, and they're still looking for that like,
validation from our parents.
Yeah.
It's a lot about, well, actually, you'll have this lifestyle, or you'll go to school, you'll finish university, you'll start working, and then you get married, right? Like,
I got the call out for the shoot when we had the idea to do it. And I had over 20 girls say they were interested. So they want that. And it's like, there's no avenues for it. The representation is not there. So they're like, how do I do it? I don't know.
The encouragement from home,
and then
from friends and family
as well to do it. Like, say, if you don't have that encouragement in home, it's like, do we have those communities that are like supporting that and encouraging that?
Or is it looked down upon?
Yeah, like even in our own communities and societies.
It's interesting because we are so creative. We have Bollywood, we have singing, we have dancing, we got it all.
Yeah.
And yet we can't evolve it to here. Like how we, like as the next gen, want to take that forward. It's like the impact of today. Like if there could be anything.
If anyone else was out there looking at it and going, if they can put themselves out there, they can be so proud and confident in their bodies and stand there like, I can do that too. That means another girl is able to access the ocean, go swimming, be able to wear what they want to because they have seen that there are girls who have bodies similar to them, who are the same color as them, might have to be a healthy body type and have bigger thighs. That's totally fine because that's something I didn't see when I was young. I used to literally eat a fist size. I want a flat stomach. So I'm hoping like if there are girls in their teenage years and they see these photos and they're just like, they look stunning, I can be like that, and that would like make my day.
Same sentiment. But also, you know, if a girl can maybe post a picture and not think 50 times, think, oh, like actually I don't look so good, I don't like the way my nose looks, and get herself, and just feel proud of her, in her skin, of herself, of her features, South Asian features. They're very different to what today's features or westernized features are like. Stereotype of if you have a small nose or if you have big eyes and big lips, that's the only way that you can be beautiful. All our girls that are filming today, they're all so beautiful, so different from each other. We're just hoping that, you know, there's a little girl out there somewhere, or a 30-year-old or a 50-year-old woman that looks at it and goes, actually, I can do this too, you know? I should be proud of who I am.
We've had that journey ourselves. Like, we've gone through the shitty parts of dealing with judgment from others and then us judging ourselves and not feeling comfortable in our own skin, our multiple identities. We're finally stepping into this place of authenticity, a place of confidence and a place of like self-love. If that can happen earlier for people, imagine what amazing things they'll get up to. Like, the world is so abundant. That kind of representation, that kind of support. Hopefully we create that. So the next generation has it.
Have a makeup artist, photographer, they're all like female South Asians. Was that kind of an intent with the shoot as well?
It was, and it was also, it came about that way.
Yeah, we almost manifested it to be that way.
Because we were like, it would be good to have a female crew because not every girl might feel comfortable
with a male.
And I was recommended Ishani by someone else who responded to my call out.
Yeah.
So on board. Cassini, like we worked for them before, but as soon as we asked,
so quick to say yes. You know, there was no hesitation. It was, oh my god, this concept is amazing. I want to do it. And just people being able to come together like that, empowering, women empowering other women. We don't see that in our community. You know, everything is a competition. Everything is, I'm better than you. Yeah. Or just, you know, you're taught that since you're a kid.
You're gossiping about someone else.
Yeah, parents comparing you to a cousin or a family friend's child and saying, she's doing this, why aren't you doing this? That is where it starts. That is where the comparison between women competing with one another.
And the lack of community, because it's like, we imagine how great we'd all be if we all just supported each other.
Yeah, and just uplifted each other, hyped each other up. I know there's this thing where, you know, guys joke about it, oh, like girls posting on each other's photos and hyping each other up. Oh, you're so, you know, gorgeous, you're so lovely. But I step back and I think, no, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Why are you viewing that as an issue? Because if we don't uplift each other...
Because the other thing that came together was the brand that we are wearing today. I think I showed you their page because they're all about inclusivity in body types. Their page is literally, it's not saying like a skinny person and then a plus size person. It's like all bodies are inclusive.
Yeah.
They're not even mentioning the body type when they've got photos of them. This brand speaks our language.
Yep.
I followed them on Instagram and they were keen to collab with me.
What's the name of the brand?
Buenala. They literally sponsored every single piece today. I was shocked because I was like, is this really happening? Like,
crazy.
Yeah.
It's added so much value in their own way.
They also resonate with the message.
Yeah, and everyone being aligned honestly brings the energy, and that's what I'm hoping people can see.
That.
Yeah.
I can see it already. I think like the energy is really organic. Everyone's on the same like kind of values level.
Tani would be able to say, she's like, you know what, it's all happening, it's all coming together, I'm excited. I'm like, I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed, Tani.
But you know, even between us, we were talking about how balanced the both of us are. Like we balance each other out in our ideas or what we bring to the table. And that's been really nice.
It's
You know,
been
just
so good.
having one person be anxious, one be excited. Yeah, just being able to
Literally this morning when we decided on hairstyles, I was literally thinking yesterday, I was thinking I need to message Tani. I've decided I think we should just do like straight hair and everyone can do what they want with straight hair. And I was like, you know what, I should do some study before I message. I went and got my phone, get a message from Tani literally like 10 minutes later, saying the exact same thing, and I'm like,
we're aligned.
Yeah.
That's it.
So what's next with this creative duo? Do you have any plans?
with the call out and having over 20 girls interested, I feel like we need to create more.
Absolutely.
More opportunities for more women to be able to just like do this kind of stuff, whatever it is. I know a lot of women that did come up did say like, oh, okay, like once I told them the brief, weren't comfortable in underwear, and that's completely fine. Like I think people should be able to be comfortable in whatever they want to be comfortable in. So much interest, and we do need to
work together more and do more of
Yeah.
this. Whether it's a really strong message or just a fun shoot.
Yeah.
And I think the way both of us work we're planned, but we also leave room for spontaneous creativity. And whatever's next, I'm sure will just come out of that.
This was not like a campaign to like start something and then keep it going to any of that. Like it just came about that idea.
It's been an awareness thing. All of a sudden everyone's talking about it, and our generation has the power to be able to change the dialogue around it.
Our generation was also, I feel like, the ones that struggled a lot.
Well, because we were challenging norms.
Yeah.
And when you're challenging norms, you get labelled a rebel, or you're not being a good girl.
I was outspoken and it was considered a bad thing.
Yeah, I was opinionated and it was a bad thing. Why do you have opinions about everything?
Yeah.
When my parents would be like, we're going here, that's when I just keep quiet.
Just don't talk to them.
Yeah.
So you were talking about, I guess, choosing the right things, people pleasing, wanting to like stay on that pathway that everyone's like shoving you to be on. When did the, I guess, safe pathway not feel safe anymore? When did that flip switch?
It actually ties back to my money story, or like, because grown up in an environment where dad has always worked hard for stability. So they're migrants, they've come to another country and established themselves. So safety and stability was all they knew. I need to have a certain amount in the bank, I need to have money always coming in, and what does that for me is a safe and stable career, finances and all of those things. It just never felt authentic, it just never felt like me. And it was literally because that was me, but I wasn't integrating the two. My situation with my family and my own stability financially and all that is what gave me safety. Realizing that I have a backing with my family and parents no matter what. gives me the safety to do that. And I've always had that, but because of my money story, I never felt like I had that, even though I did.
Felt like your, I guess, authenticity was impacted by your financial needs?
Yeah, all the needs I manage, like your shelter, your food, your health, all of those things. That's when you can like do something creative because you feel safe.
Yeah.
But even though I was safe, I never felt that way because I felt like I was fighting for stability.
Pushed you back into the box a little bit.
Because it's like we love our community and it's so valuable to us. We don't want to lose that and our family and stuff. But then, yeah, how do we be our authentic selves and get them along for the journey?
When did the nitpicking and self-judgment stop? Right after that, has it? That's pretty much the prompt. Like, yeah.
You know what? I don't think it really stopped. I don't think it still has stopped because I still am the kind of person that will look at a picture and think about it and nitpick at it or say, oh, I don't like that angle. And why do we do that? It's because we want to look a certain way. Why do we say, actually, my left side is better than my right side? Why do you do that? You do that because you want to try and fit into today's beauty standards, right? So I don't think it stopped. It's a journey that I'm still on. It's a journey of accepting, and that is why I mentioned ethnic features. And they're still beautiful. It's okay to have my eyes or my nose, you know, like it's not considered any different to anybody else. And the problem is, because we're coming from like immigrant families, we're in a different country, and Western beauty standards versus what we're used to is so different that being able to merge the two, and then that comes into representation. How will you feel beautiful if you don't see them on screen? If you don't see somebody like Sumana and I, maybe one day, doing a big brand, like a makeup advertisement, right? You're not going to see it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of, it's an internal journey as much as it is external. And, you know, being a 29-year-old, if that is the amount of judgment I have for myself, I have so much empathy for young girls out there. Because you know what? They see so much of it on social media. So I hope we're living in a world where we're able to make a difference, one little step at a time like this one. And, you know, I can only hope that hopefully in a couple of months or years from now, we'll see more of people that look like us.
Let's take a couple of months.
Yeah,
let's take a
I'm with
couple of months.
Awesome.